There's a powerful new champion of reproductive freedom in America: corporations. That's right, in the wake of last week's leaked Supreme Court draft decision indicating that Roe v. Wade will be overturned, a number of corporations have generously announced that they'll cover expenses for employees who might need to travel for an abortion if and when it becomes illegal in their state. These companies include Amazon, Citigroup, Uber, Lyft, Levi Strauss, Tesla, Salesforce, and Yelp, among others. Banking giants Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan Chase are reportedly also considering following suit. And an increasing number of businesses are now signaling support for abortion rights in other ways. For instance, OkCupid recently tweeted, "Roe v. Wade being overturned is unacceptable. OkCupid has proudly supported reproductive rights for years and we're not stopping now. Gender equality is at stake and more brands need to step up. Tag a brand you want to see take action." They then shared a list of signatories to a pro-choice campaign called Don't Ban Equality that includes Ben & Jerry's, Goop, Everlane, Patagonia, and Grindr, among other companies. In an article praising businesses stepping up to defend abortion rights, a columnist for the Seattle Times recently wrote, "I hate to close with this because it goes against what we're supposed to believe about our allegedly people-powered democracy. But maybe only corporations can save us now." I disagree. No matter how thrilled liberals may be by this recent corporate enthusiasm for women's rights, leaving even a small part of abortion access to the discretion of the business sector is not any kind of solution to the rights attacks on reproductive freedom. It's just another sign of our democracy in decay. Now, to be clear, the overturning of Roe will have grave consequences for women in the US, particularly for those who lack the financial resources or the job security necessary to travel out of state to obtain an abortion. The end of the ruling means that abortion could become illegal in half of all states in the country. It would also put the right in a position to advance even more draconian legislation, such as a federal abortion ban or bills that classify abortion as homicide. What's more is that the systematic undermining of abortion rights in the US over the past few decades is the product of both the Republicans' ruthless commitment to minoritarian rule and the Democrats' complete fecklessness. Keep in mind that most Americans support upholding Roe and agree that abortion should be legal in some or most cases. Yet, 5 unelected Supreme Court justices, 4 of whom were appointed by presidents who lost the popular vote, are now on the verge of overturning the ruling. And Democrats, for their part, declined to do anything at all to enshrine the right to abortion on a federal level, even when they controlled the presidency and both houses of Congress under Obama. And aside from staging a symbolic Senate floor vote that they knew in advance would fail earlier this week, it's still not entirely clear what they're going to do now to defend abortion rights, though they're clearly hoping the issue will turn out voters for them during midterm elections and fuel the endless cycle of fundraising. As journalists for The Lever have pointed out, there are plenty of ways that Democrats can take action to expand abortion access. For instance, blue states with budget surpluses could theoretically open new public abortion clinics run by unionized healthcare workers to accommodate a potential rise in demand. These same legislatures could also help provide funds for people traveling to the state for an abortion. But will any of that actually happen? The Lever noted, "We reached out to top Democrats in California, Maryland, and Illinois to ask what steps they are willing to take to ensure access to abortion care. None returned a request for comment." It's precisely this political vacuum that has handed the private sector and corporations a PR opportunity to now signal how progressive they are by promising to help their employees access abortion. As we all know, the business sector has been big on so-called corporate social responsibility over the last few years. They've come out in support of and even donated billions of dollars to causes like racial justice, voting rights, and LGBTQ rights. But fundamentally, corporate social responsibility is the end result of decades of free market policies in which the government has declined to intervene on issues like healthcare, climate change, poverty, and economic inequality, and instead left such problems to be, quote, solved by the market or by so-called public-private partnerships that usually end up enriching the private sector at the expense of the public. And no matter how enlightened corporations may seem these days, their bottom lines are ultimately where the rubber meets the road, which means that for all of their recent progressive signaling, you'd still be hard-pressed to find a corporation advocating for, say, the PRO Act, a federal minimum wage increase, or higher taxes. Corporations' recent championing of abortion rights and other progressive causes is also concerning because it suggests that while big business has traditionally enjoyed a cozy relationship with the Republican Party, they're now willing to risk angering the GOP because they also have plenty of friends in the Democratic Party. To look at just one recent example of this friendliness, here's Virginia Senator and former vice presidential candidate Tim Kaine at last week's Senate hearing on Amazon.
I don't challenge some of the facts that my chairman laid out or that you've laid out, and I think some compelling stories, but I don't think Amazon is an organized criminal syndicate.
It definitely is the way they treat their workers, sir, with all due respect.
Yeah, so I mean, I know that that's your opinion, and you are as sincere in stating that as I am in saying that I think that's a vast overstatement. Amazon employs 1 million Americans. Not everybody hates their jobs at Amazon. Tens of thousands of them work in Virginia. Not everybody hates their jobs at Amazon. Amazon's going to open a huge headquarters in Northern Virginia that was going to have 25,000 employees, but after New York said, we don't want you, it's going to be 35,000 employees in Northern Virginia, and Virginians are very excited about it. It's in probably the bluest part of Virginia, and the County Board of Supervisors, they're thrilled to have Amazon.
Amazon, if you recall, is one of the companies that has bravely offered to pay for abortion-related expenses for its employees. And on this issue, Amazon's behavior is pretty instructive of the limits of corporate social responsibility because, after all, in addition to their recent ruthless union busting, they're the very same company that has consistently paid little to no federal income taxes. Likewise, plenty of other big companies that recently announced their support for abortion rights, including Salesforce and Levi Strauss, have also dodged paying their fair share of taxes and/or engaged in relentless political lobbying to roll back labor protections and other laws that threaten to interfere with their profit. In other words, corporations consistently use their power, money, and political influence to undermine the public good, and then turn around and offer crumbs to citizens under the PR-friendly guise of social responsibility. Defending and expanding reproductive rights in the U.S. after Roe is overturned will of course require quick action, plenty of creative maneuvering, and possibly even some new political coalitions. But make no mistake, corporations will never be the ones to save us. If you like this video from The Jacobin Show, please hit like and subscribe and share with your friends. Thanks.